you hear me?
Yes, I can hear
Okay.
you.
Sure, Shana. So, dear participants, we are about to begin our second session today. Our speaker is here with us today, Ms. Chandana Bhuya. I would like to give a brief introduction on our speaker for this second session. Ms. Chandana Bhuya is a widely known psychologist of the northeastern part of India. After completion of her formal education, she has received supervised training in clinical psychology in Fortis Memorial Research Institute and Hospital, Gurgaon, Delhi. This was followed by a wide range of national and international certificate courses and training in a specialized domain. She is a member of American Psychological Association, a very well-known organization. She is a life member of Bharatiya Counseling Psychology Association and Indian Council for Child Abuse, Neglect and Child Labor. She has represented her state Assam in the World Youth Peace Summit organized by UNO during her student life. She was also selected for the Gandhi Smriti Darshan Samiti for her contribution to social work. She is presently working as a consultant psychologist, as a therapist, and as a parenting expert in Pratiksha Hospital, Guwahati, Assam. She has a keen interest in prevention of mental illness, and she has been constantly taking numerous online sessions throughout this pandemic session, which has been helping people around the country and worldwide to deal with the different kinds of mental stress and prevention and well-being of mental health. She has a lot of contribution towards the society in this field, and we have here today with us Ms. Chandana Bhuya, who will be taking over this session for the next 1.5 hours with very interesting activities to be followed. I welcome her to this platform, and I would like to now hand over this session to our speaker, and I'm sure the participants will be greatly benefited with her knowledge. Thank you. So, Ms. Chandana Bhuya, can you please take over the session?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Ardana ma'am, and thank you so much for having me here. It is kind of an honor to me, to get this invitation. And hello, everyone. So I'm not going to present any kind of PPT because PPTs are boring, right? All of you are must be, this all this pandemic, we all are so busy on webinars, and most of the time PPTs become boring. So I thought I will do something else. So on today's topic, what I specifically my expectation from you is that I want your full participation. If you don't understand anything, you are free to ask. You can unmute yourself. You can ask me directly, or you can ask in the comment section also. So it is going to be an interactive session. I want your full interaction with it. Am I clear on that? Is everybody ready for that? You can
Yeah, ma'am.
just write or unmute yourself and tell me. Yeah, thank you, Tanushree. Yes, thank you, Yashmin, ma'am. Okay. So I'm taking everyone's first name actually. I think that's all right with everyone. Thank you, Pooja Joshi. Thanks a lot. Okay. So today's topic is actually basically on mental hygiene. So what all of you do you understand what is mental hygiene? So we are very much aware about what physical hygiene is. We are very much aware about what oral hygiene is, right? We are taught to have this kind of hygienic, how to maintain our oral hygiene, how to maintain our physical hygiene from a very early age. But what we don't know, on today's date also, even after we being very educated and we are well aware about so many other things, but we are not that much aware about mental hygiene and why mental hygiene is so important. Uh, just is there any disturbance? Is my voice clear enough for everyone?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Okay, thank you. So, why mental hygiene? It's that there is a myth going on that you have to have a clinical disorder in order to, approach a mental health professional or a psychologist or a psychiatrist. It's actually not like that. The science, the psychological science is for everyone. So anyone who doesn't have an emotional disorder, everyone needs to know the basic theories of psychological science or at least mental hygiene. For example, in order to know how to maintain physical hygiene or how to maintain oral hygiene, we don't have to become a doctor or a dentist, right? So it's not that you have to study that, but there are some basic things which we all need on an everyday basis, because this is a very much integral part of our day-to-day life. So what is mental hygiene now? That for that to understand, we have to understand what is emotion. So we all are aware about that there are two types of emotions, right? Positive emotions and negative emotions. What we don't know is that there are two types of negative emotions also: healthy negative emotion and unhealthy negative emotion. Now, what is healthy negative emotion? For example, we most of us are still working from home, right? Why we are working from home? Because we are scared that if we go out, we might get infected, right? If whenever we are going out, we are using mask and we are using hand sanitizer and everything. There is a fear is a negative emotion. But just suppose hypothetically we are not experiencing any kind of fear regarding the coronavirus. Okay, what will be our behavior in that case? We will not wear any mask, we will not follow any kind of government instructions which are given, right? And we end up infecting ourselves, or we end up becoming a asymptomatic carrier for somebody else, right? So, in this particular situation, fear is a healthy negative emotion. We need this fear to survive. This fear is for our own survival. So, this circumstance and this situation demands this negative emotion, obviously in a balanced amount. But what if you are watching the news 24 into 7, you are looking at the statistics, and instead of looking at the whole statistics, like how many, recovery, what is the recovery rate, or how many people are actually coming out of this situation, you are only looking at how many people are dying, how many young people are dying. If your focus is only on the negative part, and even after following all the instructions and taking all the preventive measures, you still feel very anxious. Your body is in at some kind of uneasiness. You are feeling agitated, or there are a lot of anger outbursts happening recently. You are feeling cranky a lot for no apparent reason. If that is what is happening with you, in that case, I have to say that probably you are experiencing the unhealthy negative emotion of fear. And what is the unhealthy part of fear? That is called anxiety. Okay, that is anxiety. So anxiety is an unhealthy negative emotion. Again, just to make you understand better, okay, I will make this as short as much possible, this theory part. We will try to go for the practical part as soon as possible. So one more example. For example, somebody has died in some household, okay? And what is the obvious negative emotion all the family members will experience? Can you just type your answer in the comment section? I'm looking at the screen right now. If somebody has died in a household, what would be the emotion experienced by the family members or relatives or colleagues or friends? Yes, yes. Right, exactly. Sadness, panic, anxiety, crying. Yes, very much right. Grief, very right. Yes. So, in this case, is it normal to experience sadness? Is it normal to experience grief? Can you just answer that also? Is it normal to experience this grief and sadness? Exactly, it is normal. If somebody is not feeling sadness, not feeling grief, even after that person is close to the person who has just died, then that would be abnormal, right? So in this case, the sadness is definitely negative emotion, right? We are experiencing a negative emotion. But these are general emotions. Yes, we are experiencing a negative emotion, which is sadness, but this is a healthy negative emotion, because this is an appropriate emotion in relation to the situation we are facing. Okay, but if the same grief continues even after 1 year, okay, and this grief simply make you paralyzed, you are not able to do your day to day, you are not able to lead your day to day life, you are not able to sleep, you are not able to eat, or you are overeating, okay. If those kind of situation is happening, then we would say that this is pathological grief, it is going towards depression. So sadness is a healthy negative emotion, while depression is an unhealthy negative emotion. Am I clear enough now? Am I clear enough on what is healthy negative emotion and what is unhealthy negative emotion? I'm looking at the screen. Please answer your.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. So you understood that what is unhealthy negative emotion. Now the problem arises when what if life is fundamentally uncertain, right? And we experience unhealthy emotion in many of the situation, right? It's not that we are going to control the whole life. Like for example, this coronavirus situation is out of our control. What we can do? This is some completely out of our control. This sense of not having control, or this lack of control, or this sense of uncertainty is giving us a lot of anxiety right this moment. Yes, even the children are experiencing that. What happened when we experience this kind of unpleasurable or uncomfortable emotions? What we do, we all have different kinds of coping strategies, okay. Why? That is again is completely innate in us. All human beings have a definite coping mechanism. That coping mechanism is known as fight, flight, or freeze response, or a stress response. To understand that, just a basic idea I'm going to give you, okay. Or for everyone, is my hand visible enough? Is my hand visible enough?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So just this is a hand model of our brain, okay. Hand model of our brain. This particular portion, this portion is the upper section or the front section of our brain, okay. And this particular portion is the lower section or the back, middle and back section of our brain, okay. And this particular section is known as the frontal lobe, where the prefrontal cortex lies, okay, which is responsible for planning a strategy and executing them, okay, collecting information, planning a strategy and executing them. So all our cognitive faculties are here, and that's why this particular portion of the brain is also known as thinking brain, okay. While this lower section of our brain, this is the primitive brain. Why this is primitive brain? Because from the very beginning of Homo sapiens, okay, this particular portion of our brain is with us. This prefrontal cortex is a recent development. Comparatively, relatively, this is a recent development. And also in a lifetime, it takes more time to develop. Up to 25 years of age, we keep developing this prefrontal cortex, okay, while this primitive brain's development starts inside the womb. While interesting fact is that there is a very light connection between these two, and this particular area is known for, this is known as seat of emotion and seat of memory. So what happens whenever there is a life threatening situation or any kind of emotional situation happens with us? This primitive, because this particular primitive brain is with us for a very long time, so we still react or respond in that particular order, like just like a caveman, okay. Where our ancestor used to live, our ancestor used to live in a cave, right? So what is their life threatening situation in their case? It is either a wild animal, right, or a climate situation, right? So what happens here, how they used to react whenever there is a life threatening situation, because this primitive brain is with us for a longer period of time, from evolutionary point of view. So whenever there is a conflict between a rational thought and an irrational thought, or an emotion and a thought, the emotion or the irrationality always wins, because this primitive brain immediately takes over the frontal lobe or the thinking brain. This particular situation, we call it flipping of the lid. It just like flip up, just like that kettle, whenever the water boils, the lid flips up, it just flips up. Whenever there is a situation, the primitive brain takes over, hijacks the thinking brain, which is also known as neurological hijacking or emotional hijacking. So this is the myth. We think that the mind and body are separate. No, it's not. The same brain, simply conducts the body, and the same brain also controls our mind. In fact, the primitive brain is also responsible for all the automatic functions of our body. Our automatic nervous system, our hormonal systems, everything controls by this primitive brain, as well as our emotions and memory. And that's why it's very, very important to understand this structure. Have you ever lost your anger? Have you ever said this sentence, I don't know, I just lost my temper and I said that, I did that. Does this happen with you ever? Anyone? You can simply write on the comment section. I just lost my cool, I just lost my temper. Yeah, most of the people experience that. So when we say that I just lost my temper, what happens there? There is a neurological hijacking happens there. So in case of a caveman, the life-threatening situation was a wild animal or a wild bear, a bear in the jungle, or a cobra, okay, or a landsliding or something like that. But we have come a long way, but anatomically and biochemically, we still react in the same manner. Okay, what used to happen when there is a caveman was walking in the jungle and a bear comes in front of him? What happens? He either will run away or fight with the bear, or will be get frozen like a dead man. Okay, so the bear simply thinks that this is a dead animal and it has no use to me. Okay, but I will give you a simple hint. All of you are, I'm guessing all of you are sitting somewhere inside, either in your offices, in your classrooms, or in your house, or in wherever you are inside, right? So just all of a sudden, suddenly something black, creepy, black, long kind of a thing falls down just behind you. Even before you look at that particular thing, your body will move away a little. Yes or no? That automatic movement will happen with us. You know why that happens? Because this primitive brain doesn't know how, cannot differentiate between a actual life threatening situation and a perceived life threatening situation. So whenever there is a black long kind of a thing falls down, the primitive brain gets the signal there is a danger out there, okay, and I need to survive. This is a survival mechanism. We need this survival mechanism. But what is happening with us on nowadays is that differentiation, because the primitive brain cannot make the difference between a original life threatening situation and a perceived life threatening situation. So it cannot difference between actual accident or actual life threatening situation, or a nagging spouse, or a nagging boss, or a deadline for some work or project. Okay, that is what is happening with us on everyday basis. When this survival mechanism, we need this survival mechanism, it is for our own survival, but it is going against us right now. And that is why there is a axis, because it affects entire system. Because whenever there those kind of situation arises, it's a stressful situation arises, the primitive brain hijacks the thinking brain, and it sends signal to the adrenal gland. Adrenal gland, it is an additional gland over renals. Renal means kidneys, okay? It sends the signal that the life is in danger. And that adrenal gland secretes adrenaline, which is known as survival hormone, okay? okay, which is a stress hormone. All kinds of survival hormones are stress hormones or neurotransmitters, okay. So what it does to us, it simply prepares our body to fight with that particular element in front of us. So what it does, because there is a neurological hijacking happening here, the brain gets overactivated, and hence it needs more power and more energy to work. So from where it gets its food or power or energy? From oxygen and from glucose. And who supplies oxygen and glucose to our brain? It's our blood. But if we are facing a stressful situation, if we are experiencing anxiety, do we go for blood transfusion? No, we are not even aware. Most of the time we are this thing unconsciously happening with us. So what happens, that adrenaline hormone simply takes blood from the peripheries. We have only 5.5 liters of blood in our body. So what it takes, it takes blood from the peripheries. Peripheries means our limbs, hands and feet. And that's why whenever you are anxious, or whenever you are having a panic attack, or you're really stressed, you feel your hands and feet are numb, or some kind of sensation is happening there. And a lot of blood is going towards the brain against the gravitational force. Hence the heart starts pounding, it's overworking, okay. And hence the palpitation, and hence the dry mouth. And also we experience some kind of stiffness in our neck and shoulder, and many of the people experience headache, which is, migraine is also known as tension headache, okay. This happens in the acute stage. But unfortunately, while in case of a caveman, whenever the danger goes away, he can relax, okay. But what is happening with us, this every kind of situation is creating some kind of stress in us, and unknowingly we are responding to that particular stress in the similar manner, without even our own conscious knowledge. And our body is pumping a lot of stress hormone, and hence we have so much lifestyle diseases on today's date. High blood pressure, diabetes, kidney situations, kidney, different kind of autoimmune disorders. There is a branch known as psychoneuroimmunology, which means, all kinds of immunological disorders and all kinds of neurological disorders has a psychological root to it. So this is the reason we are having so many diseases. So that is why it is so important to know mental hygiene. It is very important to know how to have healthy coping strategies. This particular stress response is innate in us. We cannot change that, but we can manage that. And there is a very small window period, and we can utilize that window period. And that's where our control lies. And we really need to know how to, how to stop this overtaking of the thinking brain. We need to utilize our thinking brain. So it's very important on that part. And and there is an additional information is that our entire body is also, we psychologists call it, our body is the unconscious mind. It means all the blood cells, all the cells, all the ligaments, all the joints, even the joints, we call the joints local brains, because they collect the information from the environment and send it to the head department, okay. So, and from that department other signals come. So it's we are, without our conscious knowledge, 95% of the time we are dealing with our life. In many times even our life choices also comes from our unconscious mind. We don't even realize that we are not taking the decision consciously. So it's very important to know how to manage this. And that's why mental hygiene, there are some strategies, okay, which we can utilize to calm that nervous system down, to calm that particular stress response down, to manage after that particular panic attack, or have a control just before the panic attack. So all of you are ready for all the strategies I'm going to teach you? Is that okay? If there is any question, whatever I have told you just now, I have just given you the biology and psychology behind all our stress and everything, Okay, have you understood it well? If there is any question, please ask.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, please.
Yeah, actually, I missed out a certain thing. You consider sadness as the healthy negative emotion. So, what will be the unhealthy negative emotion?
That's depression. Depression is the unhealthy negative emotion. Now, sadness, it means you have to put one word, appropriate to the situation. Whatever negative emotion you are experiencing, if it is appropriate to the situation, it is all right. Okay. But even after, any kind of negative emotions comes from some kind of life event. Okay. Something has happened which has given you a negative emotion. That's all right. That's completely all right. But if it continues, and even after so many days and months, and you feel sadness without having any apparent reason, also you are feeling sadness on a daily basis, then it is a questionable thing. Then you have to really check whether it is really healthy or unhealthy. Okay. Am I
Thank you,
clear
ma'am.
enough?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Is there any other question?
Ma'am,
Because-
how
Yes.
about anger? How about anger? Like anger
Yes.
is, yeah, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this question because I missed this point in order to cut it short. So, for everyone, I want to say this: anger is a very natural and normal emotion. Okay. What is not normal or what is unhealthy is aggression. Okay. Anger is normal. What happens in many of the cases with us, some injustice happened to you. Is it not normal? You will feel angry. It's very normal, right? Something wrong happened with you. It's very normal to experience that unpleasurable emotion named as anger. What is not normal is that outbursting that emotion in a very exaggerated way with your body or with some mental strategies. So there are two kinds of aggression: active aggression and passive aggression. Both are bad for us. So there are actually ways to manage that. So many times, and that actually leads to our strategy, and which is regarding the mental hygiene. The first rule of mental hygiene is that it's so very important to acknowledge your emotions. That yes, I'm feeling angry, or yes, this emotion is known as sadness. Name it to tame it. If you have pains, because I already asked the organizer to have pens and colors and pages and leaf and mirror, please write it down. Name it to tame it. The moment the undisturbed or mixed feeling you are having, the moment you can name it or level that emotion, half of the work is done. It's so very important. Okay. So whenever you feel angry, just accept it, acknowledge it. Okay, I'm feeling anger right this moment. Acknowledgement, then acceptance. Accept that yes, it is my feeling. I am feeling this. Or just try to be mindful about your body and try to feel where in your body you are feeling that emotion. It's not only our mind which feels the emotion, it's our we feel emotions with our body also. Try to be very mindful about where you are feeling angry. Many times we make feast whenever we are feeling angry. We have hot flushes, right? Many of the symptoms, we if you're mindful enough, you will see those symptoms. That's very important. uh, uh, Ma'am, Dr. Sushmita Bhattacharya ma'am, is that my answer is enough?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Welcome. Okay, there is one question. What about not forgiving someone if they treat us badly? Yeah, that's again a very important question. Yes, we call, forgiveness is very important. Why? I will come to that, but yes, but probably you are not able to forgive because somewhere you haven't communicated enough about that you are hurt. Probably you are not able to accept or not able to communicate with that particular person that you have hurt me. So many of the times what happens with us, it's very easy to show anger than to show sadness, right? And many of the cases it happens with men, because from a very early age we teach our boys that just man up, you are a boy, why are you crying? Okay, so that is a very unhealthy teaching. Okay, it is completely all right to cry, it is completely all right to show our sadness. We are scared of showing our actual true emotions, and hence we learn some unhealthy coping strategies, and that is why it is easier to cover up our hurt and wound with anger. So many of the times when you are not forgiving someone and showing so much anger, what you are doing, you are actually not accepting your own sadness or own disappointment. And there are so many other things actually, like there are expectation, we have expectation from ourselves, we have expectation from the other people, we have expectation from the world at large. Okay, and whenever those expectations are not met, we feel frustrated. We call in our language, in psychological language, we call it the level of frustration tolerance. So the high amount of frustration tolerance you have, you will experience less happen. I mean, less sadness or less unhappy emotions. But how to create, how to enhance your frustration tolerance level? It's important whenever you are feeling frustrated, it's important to acknowledge it, accept it, then only you will able to let it go. So somewhere please write it down. Acknowledge emotion, name it, to tame it, level it. You don't have to accept it in acknowledge it in front of anybody else, you have to accept it in front of your own self. You are the person, your body is the one particular thing which is with you, will be with you till you die, right? You are the person with whom you have the relationship till you die, right? All other relationship can fluctuate. This is the only relationship we are going to have all our life. So it's very important to face your own self. We have some innate fear in us. We are fearful of death. We are fearful of what people will say. And the most important fear we all carry is that to face our own self, to face our own true emotions. So the moment you will be able to do that, so many things will be in a very balanced way. We can balance our life. Whenever we anger, how to win that situation even though we accept, ma'am? Yeah, I'll go to that. So let's try the strategies now then. So there are so many strategies. I mean, I give 10 strategies to everyone, at least in this lockdown period. This is what I'm giving everyone. This is a general instruction to maintain your mental hygiene. But I'm going to make you practice that today. So it's very important. What happens with our brain if some kind of life event has happened with you. Okay, that life event has given you a negative emotion. Okay, that negative emotion, initially probably it was a healthy negative emotion, but with time, if it prolongs for a very long time, it we would say that it is a unhealthy negative emotion. That unhealthy negative emotion leads to different kind of coping strategies. If you are doing a healthy coping strategy, it's well and fine. But most of us automatic is the word, okay? Automatically, we pick up unhealthy coping strategies, and which lead to, what happens there? We go into automatic cognition. We call it, this is a chain thought, okay? We start ruminating. We start worrying. Why worrying? Because this primitive, this particular, prefrontal cortex, what it feels, if it is worrying, it thinks that I'm doing something, because this is responsible for making a strategy, planning a strategy and executing it. The moment it's not able to do that, it will keep on worrying, and it creates a worrying loop in our brain. Okay, our brain has a special ability. This is a beautiful blessing to us, at the same time it's a curse to us. This is known as neuroplasticity. So with every experience, we create some synaptic connection in our brain. So whenever you are ruminating about something, you are worrying about something day after day, what happens? There will be a synaptic connection on that particular thought, which we call that negative loop, or negative I mean depressive loop. Okay, and after some time you will lose control over that thought, and without your control, the thought, that negative thought, that negative worrying will be part of your life. Whenever you are not even thinking, you are not consciously doing it, but it will come to you, spontaneously. And it will, again, it's like a loop. It will give you that negative, automatic negative thought will give you negative feeling. That negative feeling will make you do some other things like compulsive behavior, which will again create some negative emotions. Again, you will experience some emotion. It creates a cycle, a negative loop or cycle, and it's very important to break that as soon as possible. And we need minimum 21 days to break a negative loop. Okay, if you do it continuously and religiously, and we can create antidepressive loop or positive loop. In place of that, we can create new synaptic connection because of the same ability of our brain, which is known as neuroplasticity. Am I clear enough for everyone? Can we go for the strategy now? Okay, okay. Thank you so much. So everyone has got pages and pens or pencil. I suppose everyone has that. Okay. So your task is to, the moment I would say start, all of you will start writing. Okay. Now the question is, what would you write? Okay. You have to write. You can start your writing with a phrase, I am feeling. Okay. Or I am worrying about. Okay. Whenever you start the phrase with I am feeling, only and only write feeling words. Means I am feeling angry, I am feeling bored, I am feeling exhausted, my body is aching. Any emotions you are feeling in your mind, any emotions you are feeling in your, any sensation you are feeling in your body, or any worry, worrisome thought you are having, automatic negative thought, irrational thought you are having in your mind, write it down. Okay, you don't have to analyze it, you don't have to check what I have written and what I would write next. Don't think about it, don't analyze it. Try to make as much as possible spontaneous, automatic. Okay, the moment I would say start, you would start writing, and hence the rule is, until and unless I don't say stop, you are not going to stop. You are not, your pen would not lift from the page. Am I clear enough?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, thank you. So, and that the time limit I'm going to give you, it also has a scientific basis to it. Okay, this is the first strategy. So this I always, recommend everyone to do journaling and do automatic writing. It really helps. And there are some other steps to it. But first you have to write about it. And if you don't go into the flow of automatic writing, things will not come up from your unconscious mind. Okay, so it's very important not to stop and keep on writing. If your hand pains, you can write, my hand is paining. If you feel like, what ma'am has given us instruction, it's so boring, write down, I'm so angry with ma'am, I'm feeling bored. Okay, you are completely all right, you can do that. And you don't have to share that with anyone, so you are very free to write any. Okay, and we are ready, and your time starts now. I'm keeping a stopwatch with me, so please, until as I don't say stop, please don't stop. Keep on writing, keep on writing. I am feeling this, I am feeling that, whatever you are feeling in your mind, in your body, in your thought level. I'm worrying about whatever you are worried about. Write about the thought, Rashmita Mishra. You have to write, okay? It's called automatic writing, okay? It's part of expressive art therapy strategy. Don't get distracted with anyone or anything. Please keep on writing. I'm keeping a stopwatch with me, so I'm going to only say when to stop, okay? Until that, please keep on writing. Keep on writing. Write about all the unpleasurable feelings you are experiencing right now or you are experiencing from last few days or months. All the thoughts that's haunting you or all those automatic negative thoughts or any memory you have which comes to you again and again and again. And any dream, any negative dream which you see most of the days. some kind of nightmares, you can write about that also. Any kind of disturbed feeling. Keep on writing. Please keep on writing whatever thoughts, feelings you are having, Madhuri, Matani ma'am. Whatever feelings you are feeling right now. Okay, start with the phrase I am feeling, or any irrational, automatic negative thoughts you are having, like I am worrying about this, I'm worrying about that. Whatever you are experiencing at this moment or from last few days or months, just keep on writing about them. Okay, whatever you wrote, don't have to look at it. You keep on writing. It's very important to stay in the flow. It is an exercise known as automatic writing. Write about anything which is disturbing you, and any disturbed emotions, anything you, if you are having a fight with your spouse also, you can write about that. Any disappointments. Yeah, if you're having any nightmares, some negative kind of dreams which you recently has experience, or you have something which you see very frequently, you can write about that as well. Okay, keep on writing whatever thoughts, emotions you are having, and whatever sensation you are having in your body. Yeah, whatever, feeling tired, please write it down. I'm feeling tired. Please don't get distracted. Keep on writing. There is a reason for to ask you to write for some time, because I'm keeping a stopwatch here. Keep on writing. Keep on writing. It's not over yet. If you're feeling free, you can write it down. I feel free after writing, but keep on writing. Uh, Please keep on writing. If you are very worried about whether you are going to fill the form of attendance session link, you can write about that as well. If you are worrying that, time is going, I have some other work, how to do that, write about that as well. Okay, Padma Sanjeevi, thank you for to let us know that. It's for those people who probably feel like not writing. So it's important to prompt. Whoever feeling distracted by any sound or anything, you can write about that too. I'm getting distracted by this. Yeah, please write about that, that I'm getting distracted by ma'am's repeated instructions. Yes, Rakesh Panigrahi, you can write, I am feeling blank now, or I am feeling numb now. You can write down that. I'm not able to think anything else, but still keep on writing. Write about feeling blank. Yes, Dr. Archana Gautam, you can write about that. You can give details also in your writing. Okay, that's very good, Professor Chitralekha. You can write you are feeling nostalgic about whatever memories you are having now. Very good. There are two types of nostalgia. One is sadness, one is happy one. Please don't stop, okay? Keep on writing. Wait for my instruction to ask you to stop. That's really nice to know. But most of you are writing in the comment section. You are not writing on your pages. Please make sure you write these things on your page as well, okay? Okay, Dr. Vijay Sahib, yeah. That's good that you are experiencing anxiety for a short time. It's all right. Whatever the anxiety is about, please write about it. Yeah, that's completely all right and justified. Please write about it. Yeah, that's normal to come. All kinds of things will come up now because you are entering into the unconscious of your mind. Brijmohan Vyadji, please write about it. Okay, all of you can stop now. Three. Okay, thank you, Mukhopadhyay, to let us know about that. Yeah. Okay, that's all right. Whatever it is about, it's completely all right to feel those emotions and having those thoughts. Okay. Trembling, if you feel any kind of tremor in your body, it's completely all right. I'm going to make you ground. Okay? I'm going to teach you how to calm down yourself. Okay, all of you can stop now. Please stop. Now, the next instruction is all of you just look at whatever you have written, okay, and just try to collect the emotions, okay, and categorize in the sense, if you felt anger, if you felt irritation, if you felt hesitation, if you felt restlessness, okay, or anxiety or some kind of tremor in your body, okay, or simply keep those emotions inside a category of anxiety, okay, restlessness, hesitation, irritation, okay. For example, anyone who got disturbed by my voice, that is also irritation and distracted also, right? Restlessness, please put that also inside the category of anxiety. Then those people who felt nostalgic about something and miss something and feel some kind of sadness, okay, there are two types of nostalgia I already mentioned. So sadness, if you have experienced sadness, grief, loss, okay, pain, put it inside the category of pain and depression, or okay, pain or depression, okay. Just like that, make your own category. Please go it quickly. If you felt hopelessness, put it inside the category of depression. Helplessness, hopelessness definitely goes into the category of depression. Fear of failure goes into the category of anxiety. Yes, Ashmita, yes, that's what it is all about. Why that flow is important? Because we are many times we don't want to feel our emotions. Even those people who have experienced, blankness, please, that nothingness and blankness is some kind of blocking. You are blocking your unpleasurable emotions, unconsciously blocking it, okay. That blank feeling goes into the category of depression. Tired goes into the category of depression again. Rejection, same. Make it quick, okay. Go through your sentences and words and make those categories, and then just let me know what is the most experienced category. Fed up of current situation of corona, that is also hopelessness, kind of tiredness, it goes into the category of depression, okay. Chronic disease goes into the category of depression. Worried goes into the category of anxiety. Depression definitely goes into the category of depression. Lazy goes into the category of depression. Insecure will go into the category of anxiety. Missing will go into the category of depression. Sadness will also go to the depression category. I am feeling tension in happiness. It means there are mixed feeling, right? So tension in happiness means anxiety. Many of us are scared of happy moments. We think if everything is going right, we start to feel anxious. Oh God, what will happen if it stops? I'm going through your messages. Yes, thank you, Mukhabudai. So thanks for this, Jafi. Yeah. Feeling of unwantedness is some kind of rejection that will go into the category of depression. Okay. Feeling empathetic to migrants and farmers. Feeling empathetic is completely fine, but what kind of emotion you are experiencing?
It's like feeling sorry for them.
Yes, sir.
So it's like empathetic. I'm trying to share the same feeling what they have, something like that.
Okay, and what is that exactly feeling? You're feeling bad for them?
No, yeah, it's not a bad one because definitely some people are suffering, no? So I'm thinking about.
Yeah, and what that makes you feel? Like, are you feeling helplessness or
No,
what
I'm
is it?
feeling sad because they can do better than this. That's the only thing.
Okay, that is your concern. Concern that,
Concern.
yeah, that's all right. Concern is a not healthy negative emotion, okay?
Okay,
Anxiety will be an unhealthy negative emotion.
thank you.
Work pressure will anxiety, okay? Sadness due to others' behavior goes into the category of depression. Ma'am, is there categories in the chat? No, the category you can also categorize. Okay, anger for past memories goes into the category of depression because that anger is actually a cover-up feeling, and you are carrying that anger. Okay. I just gave you the example of category of anxiety and depression. You can make your own category as well. Okay. And I'm asking you to categorize only the negative feelings, unhealthy negative feelings, not the healthy one. Okay. Fine. So now let's go to the next task. Okay. Whatever emotion, what is the negative emotion that you have experienced most from those pages? What comes up? Which category is the highest one? Okay. Whatever is the highest one. Now all of you, please close your eyes. Just for a minute, for a few seconds, please close your eyes. All of you, close your eyes, please. Take a deep breath in, breathe out. Breathe into the center of your body, wherever you feel the center is, and breathe out. And feel that negative feeling or see that negative memory now through your mind's eye. Okay? And try to see where in your body you have stored that negative experience, that memory, that feeling, that emotion, whatever is disturbing you. Just check where in your body you are feeling that most. Okay. Once you got that, simply give it a color, any color, whatever comes to your mind. Okay. First thought, first image, first sensing. Okay. And then give it a shape, any shape, whatever comes to your mind first. You got the color, you got the shape of the most disturbed feeling which you are feeling in your body right now. Okay. Now open your eyes, and if you are a right-handed person, use your left hand. If you are a left-handed person, use your right hand. Means use your non-dominant hand. Okay. With the help of your non-dominant hand, simply draw that feeling with that particular color and shape which came to your mind. Okay. Do it now. Navanita ma'am, no, you don't have to write it here. It's all right. You just draw it now. After that, I have more instructions. Anyone who is having that, in memory of that dream, whatever it is came to your mind when I ask you to close your eyes to and imagine your most disturbed feeling in your body. Give it a color, give it a shape, whatever came to your mind, simply draw it now. I already asked the organizer to keep colors with you. It's very important. Whoever felt that tremor in the body, draw that particular tremor. Okay. Give it a color, give it a shape. Once you are done, please then write in the comment section done. Okay. I'm waiting for other people's response. Okay. Very good. Very good. Nice. Now, all of you take all the pages. Okay. If you have written in a copy, copy se nikal lijiye, okay? You just tear it from the copy, okay? And if you have written in a loose page already, that's good enough. Take the pages which have those words, automatic writing. Also take that particular page where you have just drawn your emotion, okay? Yeah, that's all right, Mahendra sir. That's completely all right. And you have written that probably, I'm sure. Okay, you have drawn it also. So take those right pages where you have written your emotions and thoughts. Take the page where you have drawn your emotion also. Okay, take it together. All of you. All of you can, if it's possible, please switch on your camera so that I can see that you have taken the pages on your hand. Please switch on your cameras and take those pages on your hand, please. If you don't feel like switching on your camera, you can write it in the comment section. Okay, I can see that nobody is switching on their cameras. It's all right. Please take the pages on your hand. Okay. Now again, close your eyes. Don't have that pages on your hand. Thank you so much, Brij Mohanji. Thank you. Okay, take those pages on your hand. Close your eyes now. Close your eyes. Take a deep breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out and feel that warm air near your nostrils. Focus on your nostrils. Take that breathing in a normal rhythm. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe into the center of your body wherever you feel the center is and breathe out. And now go inside your body and see and feel those negative emotions and thoughts which are stored in somewhere in your body. Feel that particular negative emotion or a negative memory or a nightmare, whatever it is, it's coming out from your body. It's moving through your hands and it's coming down to your pages. Feel that. Use your imagination. Visualize those negative memories, those disturbed emotions and disturbed thoughts are coming out from your body. It's moving through your hands and it's going towards your pages. Now, with your eyes closed, start to tear those pages now. Make into multiple pieces. Tear it out. Tear it out. And while tearing, you keep telling some sentences. Simply repeat after me, okay? I choose to release these negative emotions, negative thoughts, negative memories from my body, from my mind, from my entire system. Repeat after me, please. I choose to release these negative emotions, negative thoughts, negative memories from my body, from my mind, from my entire system. Now open your eyes and see those pieces in front of you, those pieces of those papers. And this time, okay, I'm going to ask you a question, okay? answer record. You don't have to answer me exactly, but if you feel like, you can write in the comment section. What do you think? What do you feel? What is the best way to destroy some germs? By burning, by flushing it out, or dumping in a dustbin? Which is the best way you feel according to you? The first thought. Whoever feels that burning is the best option, collect those pieces and you are going to burn it. Okay, you can do after the session also. Whoever thinks flushing is the best option, take those pieces and flush it out. Whoever thinks dumping in the dustbin, okay, to take those pieces and dump on the dustbin. And again, you have to repeat this sentence while doing that. Okay, the sentence is, I choose to release all this now. Okay, and whoever is saying ignoring is not the best option. Okay, you have to do something about it with your body. Okay, involve your body while doing it. Okay, whenever burning it, see it with your eyes and simply speak out loud those sentences. While flushing it out, see with your eyes properly and utter those sentences loudly. Okay, and even if when you are dumping it, again use the sentence. Am I clear enough with the strategy? I hope I'm clear enough. Okay, you can do it after the session also. You don't have to, sit, uh, simply go from the session now, right now. So moving, this is one technique which is very, very helpful whenever there is overwhelming negative emotion also. And many times what we normally suggest is that do it almost regularly. If possible, do journaling on a daily basis. Okay, what you can do, you can simply acknowledge your emotions and accept your emotions so that you can let it go. And whenever there is a overwhelming situation, please write, please journal, and do this the second and third steps with it. Okay, you just tear it and flush it out and use those sentences. It's very, very important. And if anybody is experiencing some very disturbing situation right now, you are also going to tell me after a few days that yes, I'm feeling much better now. Okay, this is just like the oral hygiene part. We do brushing twice daily, right? We know that if we don't brush our teeth, what will be the consequences after some days, not immediately. So it is a practice for keeping your mental hygiene. Okay, climate can affect our emotion. Yes, with some people it's more, not with everyone, but climate has a effect on us. Yes. Okay, so yeah, so next step is that all of you have a leaf with you. If you don't have a leaf, proper flower petal or leaf, you can take simply a small page also. Okay, now I want all of you, wherever you are, if possible, please stand up. Okay, if not possible, if you please sit, and without your chappals, without your shoes, try to feel the ground with your feet. Feel the ground. Try to feel your toes. Try to feel the fingers of your legs. Okay, try to feel the ground. Feel it. Then with your eyes, please look at 10 things surrounding you. Count at least 10 things surrounding you, whatever is there in your environment. With your eyes, count 10 things. And now, once you have seen the 10 things, okay, close your eyes again and try to hear the sounds which are coming out of your room, not from inside the room. Wherever you are sitting, try to listen to the sounds which are coming outside from your room with your eyes closed. Okay, count 1, count 2. You can count my voice as well. Okay, If you're done with it, this time cover your ears with your hands tightly and then try to listen to the sounds which are coming from inside of your body. Do this with your eyes closed. Take a breathe in and try to listen to the sounds coming from inside. Now take away your hands. Take a deep breath in and open your eyes and take that leaf on your hand. If it is a leaf, if it is a page, whatever it is, take it on your hand. Take a deep breath in and simply blow into the leaf with your mouth, not with your nose. Okay? While you breathing out, breathe out through your mouth and let that wind simply, go into that leaf. Breathe in, breathe out with your mouth. Breathe in, breathe out with your mouth while you are holding the leaf in front of you. Breathe in and breathe out and blow out through your mouth. Okay, now take the leaf aside, leave the leaf aside. Okay. Now, somebody said losing the session. Am I audible to everybody else? Am I audible and visible enough? Okay, okay, thank you so much. It means it's his problem probably. Okay, yeah. Take the leaf aside now. This time, do you have the mirror with you? I asked to keep a mirror with all of you. If you have a mirror, it's well and good, fine. If you don't have a mirror, then you have to use the front camera of your mobile. Okay, open it. Open the mirror and look at yourself. Just like look at yourself. Look at your face, your eyes, your hair, whatever, however you are looking. Okay, just have a look. Now keep aside your mirror, keep aside your mobile phone. Okay, take the pencil or the color, take a page and draw your face now. Very quickly, okay? Just draw your face. Once you are done, please drop a message in the comment section saying done. Okay, thank you, Nagma Javed. I'm waiting for other people's responses. Okay, okay. Most of you are done. Fine. Now look at the picture. And how do you feel about yourself? If it is okay to share, please write in the comment section. How do you feel when you draw your face? It doesn't look like me. Okay. And what are the emotion? Picture is very bad. Don't think about how the picture looks. Tell me, how do you feel when you draw yourself? I made a smiley. Yeah. I felt very funny. Good. Happy. Very good. And is there anyone who felt conscious? Yeah, there is one conscious, or not confident enough, or feeling ugly or uncomfortable. And at what you laughed at, that how bad I look. Is there anyone who felt judgmental looking at your own face? That my nose is small, my eyes are big, my teeth are not perfect. How many of you have felt that? Mallar does. Yes, that marketing can reduce your anxiety. That is known as retail therapy. But if you are addicted to it, you are a shopaholic. Okay, there are two sides to it. I'm bad in drawing. It doesn't matter. Okay, I loved myself when look at the mirror. Very good. Okay, now the very important point. Whoever felt uncomfortable, conscious, or you judge your nose or lips, please mute yourself. There is a sound coming out. Yeah, thank you. So it's all right. It happens all the time in webinars. We are learning things. So whoever feels conscious about yourself or whatever, on judge you if you are judging yourself, this time again look at yourself. Take the mirror or take the cell phone. Now look at yourself with lots of loving kindness. If you feel your nose is not perfect, send a lot of loving kindness towards that organ. Okay, if you think your skin is not perfect, send a lot of loving kindness towards that skin. If you think you are so worried and so anxious, so overworked that you're aging more than your age, send a lot of loving kindness to yourself, to that picture where you are looking at. Look at yourself as if you are looking at a child, your beloved child. Okay, look at it with lot of loving kindness. Send a lot of loving kindness from your head to toe to your entire body. Now take away that mirror and take away that phone and close your eyes and sit in a very relaxed manner. Take a deep breath in and breathe out. Try to feel every part of your body. Try to feel your legs. Feel wherever it is touching. Try to feel your back and feel that pressure which is coming from the chair. Your body is touching the chair or you are sitting on a bed. Wherever you are, try to feel that feeling. If there is any kind of discomfort, if there is any kind of pain, send lot of loving kindness to that part. Wherever you are feeling uncomfortable, wherever you are feeling pain in your body, send a lot of loving kindness towards that part. Take a deep breath in and breathe out. Now, with your mind, order every part of your body to relax. Loosen up. Loosen up your feet, loosen up your knees, loosen up your calf muscles, loosen up your thigh muscles, loosen up your waist, loosen up your back muscles, loosen up your spine, loosen up your stomach muscles, loosen up your chest muscles, loosen up your shoulders, loosen up your arms, loosen up your hands. Keep your hands away from your body. Keep the palm facing the sky and let it lie down there and loosen it up. Simply loosen up every muscle. Loosen up your neck. Loosen up your back neck. Loosen up your lips, your cheeks, your eyes, your eyelids, your eyebrows, your forehead. If in order to feel that relaxed feeling on your face, in order to relax your facial muscles, softly smile. Take a deep breath in and breathe out. Keep one of your hand on your stomach above the navel point. Keep one of your hands on your chest. Now take a deep breath in. Feel that your stomach is, moving while you breathe in and breathe out. Feel it with your hands. Take a deep breath in and breathe out. And from head to toe, send a lot of loving kindness. Imagine there is a beautiful light above your head with your favorite color, no matter what that color is. Let that light fall on your head and let it touch every part of your body. This light has a special quality. Wherever it touches, it soothes, it relaxes, it heals. Let that light touch your head, your face, your neck, your shoulders, your arms, your chest, your back, your hands, your fingers, your stomach, your back, your waist, your limbs. And let that light again come up from your feet to your head, feeling more and more relaxed. Just relax. Take a deep breath in and breathe out. Now keep your right hand over your heart space and keep your left hand over your right hand. Take a deep breath in and breathe out and feel that loving kindness inside you and tell yourself loudly, I love and accept myself unconditionally. I am calm and peaceful. I am happy and healthy. Just repeat it one more time. I love and accept myself unconditionally. I'm calm and peaceful. I'm happy and healthy. Taking a deep breath in, very slowly and comfortably, open your eyes. And you can look at your faces on the mirror or on the cell phone and see there. You will feel you will look at yourself with much more loving kindness. And simply keep that feeling with you. And with this exercise, I'm ending today's session. Thank you so much for your participation, for having that patience to listen to me and following my instruction. Thank you so much. I'm open for questions. Thank you, Nagma Javed ma'am. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Ma'am, I just wanted to ask, what should be the duration of writing? I mean, how long you're supposed to write?
If you're doing that automatic writing and like you are about to tear up and everything, if you're feeling overwhelming, that write at least for 20 minutes on a continuous level. Okay. And if you're doing journaling, just normal journaling, that you are simply writing about your whatever emotion you are feeling and you are acknowledging it without the intention of tearing or anything on a normal day, then please write 30 minutes minimum. This is very important. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the question.
Madam, can you please provide any study material in terms of PPT or PDF so that we can prepare
Study
for the final
material.
assessment?
Okay. Actually, you know what? If you have you remembered how the brain works, and if these are the strategies you just have to follow. Okay. So many times, what happens if I give any study materials, people normally ignore. So I stop giving those. So okay, I will try to give something. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Please.
Yeah. But and any queries you can ask me personally. You can contact me also. I have a page in Google, in Facebook. I'm everywhere. You can ask me anytime for anything.
Okay, ma'am. Please provide your email ID.
Yes, I'm giving you.
We can get contact with you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Ma'am, there is a question from my side.
Yes.
Actually, you told that different people have different frustration tolerance. So
Yes.
how can we increase our frustration tolerance? If I have a low frustration tolerance, so what are the things by doing by doing what things my frustration tolerance will increase?
Yes, thank you so much for the question. It's a very important question, actually. So there are many ways to increase the frustration tolerance level. Okay. First of all, it actually starts in our early days as a child, and that's why I talk about a lot about parenting as well. Okay. So as an adult, whatever we practice, we simply pass it down to our children actually. So it's important how from early days, if you have there is a delayed gratification in your life, that you have practiced that in a positive manner, definitely you will have a high frustration tolerance level. If you don't have that, or if you want to increase it now on your adult age, it's very important to practice mindfulness meditation also. Okay. And also about mindful living. Many of the times what happens, we have some core beliefs or some core thoughts, and on the based on that, we judge everything and we feel frustrated. So it's very important to find out what kind of core beliefs you have. So that's why, if you write it continuously, write down your feelings and thoughts on a continuous level, you will have much more clarity and you can work on it on your level. Okay. That is one thing. Another thing, there are a lot of mindfulness meditation apps also are available, which you can download and you can practice it on a daily basis. And what I can do, because you all one of you have already asked me for a um, material, so I'm going to send you a link. I will send it to Aradhana Mishra ma'am. She will provide it to you. There is a the person who has actually make it very popular, mindfulness meditation. He's a neurobiologist who has done a lot of research on mindfulness meditation, which is known for increasing frustration tolerance level, and also reducing our stress level up to 60%. I will send the YouTube link, that particular meditation, so that all of you can practice. And if that doesn't help you, please contact a mental health professional. It's not like that you have to have a clinical situation. You can consult a psychologist anytime for anything. It's like having a fever and before taking paracetamol, you are consulting with your doctor. It's as normal as like that. Am I clear enough? Does that answer your question? Is there
Any
any
more
other question?
questions? Any more questions from the participants? Okay, so there is a question. Lots of videos, lectures, and advice available in our hand, but we can't implement in a daily life. Give any suggestion if ma'am wants to say something.
See, some of the points which I already have given. These are the strategies you can practice on a daily basis. Okay, and that grounding practice means when I ask you to feel your floor with your feet, then I ask you to see 10 things, then I ask you to hear things. Okay, what I was using, that is called ground. Those are grounding techniques. Whenever you experience panic or high amount of anxiety, or a lot of anger, you can always do this. It's very helpful. Why? Because with these five senses only, we collect information from the environment and we send it to our brain. Okay, and it process all other things. So the moment you try to feel your feet, you use those five senses to see the surrounding and connect with it. The primitive brain gets the message that everything is fine. There is no danger. The person is fine. There is no need for any survival mechanism to act on. Okay, and immediately your stress hormone starts to go down. So it's very important. Okay, you can practice that on a daily basis. That is one thing. Another thing, because if you're working from home also, please dress up. It's very important. How you dressing up and doing makeup or grooming up yourself have a psychological effect on us actually. So it really helps. Do that. That is one thing you can do always and every day. And then please have a designated workspace for you. No matter how small your room is, simply choose a corner. Have that, dedicate that corner for your work if you're working from home. Why it is important? Because it is very important to have a sense of boundary. Okay, it is necessary to have a sense of boundary from your professional and personal life. Okay, and never ever work from your bed. What happens if you work from your bed? Whenever you go to your bed on the night time, the brain gets the message, this is my workplace, so you will have trouble sleeping. Okay, and if you have disturbed sleeping, everything else will start falling down after some time. So it's very important to maintain your sleep hygiene as well. And the next thing is that any kind of movement is very helpful. Okay, so our mind and body both need some amount of movement. That movement can be mild stretching like yoga, or dance, or exercise. You don't have to hit a gym for that. You can just have a 10 minutes mindful walking every 2 hours. You can do that also. Okay, 5 minutes mindful walking every 2 hours, or 35 minutes mindful walking every day, or you can dance for 15 minutes. What happens? It secretes dopamine, serotonin and dopamine in our body, which are also known as happy hormones. Okay, and it increases the sense of happiness feeling in us. It doesn't change your reality or the whatever challenges you have in your real life, but it makes you stronger to face the situation. Okay, so it's very helpful movement. And never ever lose the sense of purpose and sense of mastery. So many of the times our type of work, we our type of work is mostly passive, right? We work with our brain, with our mind. We don't do manual work most of the time. So what happens here? Whenever we do some kind of passive work, passive activity, our brain, we feel our brain, it unconsciously end up feeling guilty. So it's very important to instill some sense of purpose in it. For example, if you have time and if you're watching movie, or you are simply watching some web series, it's all right, but it doesn't make you that feeling of freshness even after watching for a very long time. Because why? We don't have any purpose and we are doing it very passively. And hence what you can do, you can make a list of things, like list of web series or list of movies, the best movies of last 10 years, or the best web series of last 10 years. Make a list and then start watching it. What happens? The unconscious mind gets the message, okay, there is a purpose of watching this particular thing. So you end up feeling fresh instead of guilty and uh, other negative feeling. Okay, so that is important. And in order to have a sense of mastery, you don't have to be expert on anything. Simply be very passionate about something. Choose anything, start an old habit or create new hobby, but please dedicate at least 30 to 60 minutes of your time to do something which makes you happy like a child. You feel like a child again. Okay, do something about it. It's very important. All of us carry some ego states in all of us, and there is a ego state known as free child ego state. Most of the time we ignore that inner child all the time, and it also creates havoc in our life. So it's very important to dedicate 30 to 60 minutes of your time to do something about which you are very passionate about. Just practice these things on a daily basis. Okay, if it's going to definitely help you. But even after that, if you're experiencing some kind of very unhealthy negative emotions, or unhealthy irrational thoughts more than 2 weeks, please don't hesitate to contact a mental health professional. Okay, you need a trained person to take you out of that. I think that answer your question.
Okay, so thank you, ma'am, for answering the questions of the participants. I think we had a very wonderful session. All the participants, including me, we have got a very good chance to discover some feelings within us, to know us better. So that was really a very engaging, a very interactive session that we had today. And I hope all our participants have also liked it thoroughly. So we heartily thank you, Chandana ma'am, for giving us your valuable time today to spend some time with us and imparting your knowledge, your experience with us, with all our participants. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. I have a request for every one of you. If it is possible, if you can take your some amount of your time from your busy schedule, I would be very grateful if you can leave your feedback on my Google page. If you try Chandana Bhuya psychologist, you can find me in Google. So I would be very, very grateful if you can give your feedback there. Thank you so much.
I'm sure the participants will cooperate. We'll also share, if any link is there, we can share it on our WhatsApp group. We have a group here. So,
Yeah.
ma'am, if you can provide us any link for feedback or your email ID and phone number, we can share it in our our WhatsApp group for the
Yeah.
benefit of the participants. We can do that.
I have already given my phone number and email ID here, and I'm going to share my Google link with you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Aradhana ma'am.
Yes,
Hello.
yes.
Aradhana ma'am, I attended first session, but because of phone, I got disconnected, and now I'm not having that link, ma'am.
Okay, we'll look